Hello, my name is Lindsey Beier, and I'm an actress and model, and I'm about to be interviewed by Keith Andrew.
The whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can sell them out to something. And at the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities. Never give up and prove people wrong. Prove to them. But labels do not dictate who you are, who you're going to be. So prove to them. Sell them out to something. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to KeithAndrewNetWork with a special episode once again because we're talking to you from overseas. That's right, our beautiful guest is from the United Kingdom. I just want to say thank you for joining us for overseas.
Well, thank you for having me. It's lovely to speak to you.
No, the honor is all mine.
Oh,
Now,
bless you.
so the first question, we can talk about anything. It's PG, PG-13, uncensored, not in that way, obviously, but you do have the right and freedom to say anything you want. I have no cards on my sleeve. As our viewers know, you already introduced yourself in the beginning, so let's jump into the interview question. The first one I want to talk to you about, it's icebreakers. Tell our audience a little bit about yourself and your background.
Well, I am an actress, and I also do part-time modeling. I live around London area. Obviously, I love to act, I love to model, I love to read and write. I love animals, and I have a pet hamster called Kenny. Yeah. Where I'm from originally, I am from Athlone in Ireland, and some people don't know where that is. It's right in the middle between Dublin and Galway. I'm actually going over to Ireland next month, and then yeah, and then celebrating my birthday as well next month. So yeah.
Oh, happy early birthday.
Ah, thank you. Thank you. I'm nervous about it, but it's yeah, it should be fun.
Well, it's just a number. I keep saying it to my dad and my brother. It's just a number. It doesn't mean anything. I'm 36, but oh, I'm gonna be 40. Oh, I'm gonna be 50. I don't know what to do. But it depends on how you look at it. It's just a number. It doesn't mean anything.
I mean, it's also kind of as well, some people say to me, they're like, "Oh, you don't look that old," or
Mhm.
and I'm like, "Oh, thank you." But you're kind of as young as you feel, I like to think,
No, I
you know,
agree. Well,
and yeah, birthdays are just a number.
let me ask you, if it is it a big, well, not to impose on you, is it a big birthday or a special birthday?
It's a very, very big birthday, apparently. According to society, when you turn this age, it's meant to be huge and, big party and, all of that. But to be honest with you, I'm very easygoing. It's some of my friends that were like, oh, you should get a venue out and have people from the industry, but also, your family, close friends. So I'm very easygoing. I'm
Yeah,
quite
I
boring.
hear you. Now, the next one I want to ask is, what did you major in when you went to college, and were you a study nerd or party animal?
So with school, it was quite strange because from Ireland, I never actually did like the Leaving Cert or anything. And then as soon as I moved to the UK, I went straight into college. I did an audition, which I was dancing to Selfish by Britney Spears. And I got into college just like that. Obviously, I had to do English on the side, GCSE. But I was studying for a BTEC diploma. It was for a BTEC diploma, 2 years doing acting, dance, and singing.
Sorry,
Just
I'm just
fun.
I'm just distracted by your beauty. I'm a bad
Oh
flirt.
no! Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you.
You
It's
know
very
what's
sweet.
Yeah, I am. I'm a bad flirt, but my mom named all her kids. So I'm the youngest out of four brothers and one sister. So we all have Irish names. So I thought that was very
Oh.
funny.
Well, Keith Andrew, yeah, that is.
Well,
I
Andrew's not
mean,
my last name, it's my middle name.
Oh, what's your last name?
I can tell you off the air.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. It's a secret. Okay, yeah, yeah, okay, yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
Keith Andrew is my stage name.
Ooh, wow. Well, it's very Keith Andrew.
It's true. If you don't mind me flexing, what is your background? Are you like I know you're Irish, but are you also Jewish or
Um, my background, English, Irish, um, German as well. My last name's German. I don't know a word of German, but I've never been there. Um, and I think that Scottish as well. I think. I
oh
think.
nice. For
Yeah.
me, I have I don't like to label myself, but I am Jewish, little
Oh yeah.
Russian, little tiny bit of Polish, full-blooded American. You know, I wish I was Canadian, but whatever. Americans as good. Um,
Your
oh, go ahead.
accent though. I love your accent.
Oh, I do have an accent. I swear my words. It's funny you should mention that because I swear my words and people are like, where are you from? I'm from New York. Oh.
Oh,
But it's fine, because I'm nervous. When you're nervous, for my disability, I swear I'm not drunk, but
yeah, no. I mean, sometimes when I get nervous, I find chewing gum helps. I love chewing gum anyway, but especially if you're in a situation where you're kind of a bit kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, what's actually happening now? It's like it's kind of handy to have a bit of gum in your mouth. Yeah,
it's true. Well, we
yeah.
can definitely. Well, actually, let's talk about that because when I got sick, long story short, I worked in retail. I got sick, and since I work in retail occasionally, I walk around with a water bottle. I mean, crap, draw my card. Oh well, yeah, I walk around with a water bottle. As in, I'm not like, oh my God, I'm thirsty. Oh my God, I'm thirsty. It's not like one of
Yeah.
those. It's like a self-conscious thing because it kind of helps me with the anxiety. So let me ask you, for being an actress and being a model, how do you handle with dealing with anxieties? Do you walk around with anything? You mentioned chewing gum.
I mean, I love my coffee. I do. I mean, sometimes when I'm on set, you'd see me and I'm just coffee, coffee, coffee. Um, I love kind of having a cup in my hand kind of thing, you know. Um, but also, yeah, drinking enough water, keeping yourself hydrated. But one thing I have started to do is when I get very anxious, for example, there on Wednesday, I had filming in the middle of nowhere, and it was like the director hired out its own train station. And I remember the morning, first thing in the morning, I was like thinking, oh gosh, do I know my lines? Do I know my character well enough? What happens if I fall over? You know what I mean? All these things start coming into your head. Um, it's the same with events as well. But what I like to do is kind of to try and just shut down my brain, like just to stop everything that stop thinking, what if this happens? What if that happens? And just kind of say to yourself, just see what happens. Stop planning ahead and thinking this and thinking that. Just go into the situation. Just count in your head 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and get on with it.
No, I agree.
You
For
know what I
me,
mean?
going back to the water bottle, it's not like it's kind of like I don't know, it sounds stupid, like a safety blanket. It's more like a self-conscious thing. Like if you get stressed, you can always take out a water bottle. But then I went to chewing gum too. But
Yeah.
you can only chew gum only
I've
for
gum in my
about
mouth right now. I apologize.
That's fine. You can express yourself, but you can only chew gum like for like a 2, 3 minutes. I'm like, okay, I know I need to be chewing on something, but it just tastes freaking terrible.
Oh, yeah. And also, as well, some of the chewing gums you can get are like really sugary.
Yes.
and sometimes you can get like a sugar high. So I try and avoid them. I don't want to be like 1 minute, yeah, cool. Then next minute going, yeah, cool, you know.
So the next fun question I want to ask you, I'm a loser for accent, but I like the subject. And it's really cool. When I ask it, I have this anime character that plays. Have you ever done one of those human pyramids? And are you interested in doing one?
Human pyramids.
Yes.
What is that? Is that like you have like four people at the bottom and then you have three and then you have two and then you have
Yes.
one? Ooh, I ooh. I think probably when I was in school, I remember me and a few of the girls, I think we tried that once, but it didn't work very well.
I love
It
that stuff. I'm a loser.
didn't work, but yeah, we tried. So have I ever done one? No. Have I ever tried one? Yeah.
Reason I ask is because I do those for my show. I do a lot of voiceover challenges. I have the human pyramid challenges. I would love to have you be part of it if possible.
But getting like a bunch of people together and trying to do it.
Well, that and each person would reenact lines from Dumbo and then pretend to be that character. So it's really cool. I can explain more off the air. But the
Yeah.
next one I want to ask is a two-part easy question. What drew you to being an actress, and who inspired you to become an actress?
Ooh. At first,
Also, we have a visitor too. Her
I
name,
noticed. Hi.
hello, Miss
Hello.
Aria. Her name is Aria.
Aria. I love dogs. I do. I really want to get a Maltese, like a little, one of these little white fluffy dogs, but I love dogs. I do.
I love her very much.
Labrador.
I love her
Labrador?
very much. I call her Mrs. Bitey.
Why does she bite?
Sometimes, only direct at me. I kind of antagonize her, but we have a love-hate relationship.
Oh,
But you
especially when
meant, oh, go
she
ahead. I'm
doesn't get her
sorry.
food on time or something.
You mentioned a Labrador, right?
Yeah, is she a Labrador?
Oh no, she's a light cream British Retriever.
Ah. Oh, well, she's gorgeous.
She is. She's a pain in the ass, but I love her.
Ah, yeah. Well, so is the hamster as well at times, going around its wheel. Like, um, yeah, regarding acting, I mean, at first, I remember I wanted to get into singing. I mean, I grew up listening to Madonna and Britney Spears and Tommy Kitten and all of that. And me and my girlfriends, we used to pretend that we were like in bands and, music videos and that. But then it got to a point where I realized I could sing, but I'm not good at singing. So I was like, okay, no. But there was also a part of me always, even my grandfather, my late grandfather, he used to say to me that whenever I was in his house as a kid, I used to sit down and watch Marilyn Monroe films. Now I don't remember this, but he used to say that I used to watch the Marilyn Monroe films, and that he he said to me that I used to say to him, "That's what I want to do." So it's always kind of this whole creative energy has always been there. Um, and definitely people like Marilyn Monroe, obviously, she inspires me to keep fighting and fighting. I mean, I have her biography here called My Story, and it's honestly brilliant. Um, read that. I love Judy Garland, Audrey Hepburn, Elizabeth Taylor, um, Julia Roberts, and yeah. So all these kind of people, they inspire me, and they have. And I knew that kind of acting down the line was definitely something I wanted to do. But let me tell you, it's not easy.
No, it isn't. But it takes
No.
practice.
Yeah, but there's a lot of competition, especially in LA. I noticed in LA because when you go over to LA, everyone's an actor or a director or a producer. So what
True.
do you do? Oh, I'm an actress. What do you do? Yeah, I'm an actress. Oh, cool. You know what I mean?
But let me ask you this. Actually, it's one of my new subjects I want to talk to you about. What is the one, when you mentioned Marilyn Monroe, so don't worry, while you're talking, there's going to be a special effect for that. But what other movie, it's actually real cool, it's a movie reel. But with that being said, what other movies that impacted your life? I'd say, you know what, this is really what I want to do. For an example, I gave up on this dream, and the reason I gave up on it, it wasn't realistic, but I would love to travel with you. Not to
Oh.
hit on you. But the reason I bring it up is because I always wanted to be a personal assistant, a roadie. With that being said, Almost Famous had a big impact on me. Since 2004,
I
I
love that
always
film.
it's a
I
great
love
movie.
that film. I honestly do. I the guy that I was working with, I remember because he was showing me some script material, and I was like, "Have you seen the film Almost Famous?" And he was like, "No." I was like, "Right, we have to stop what we're doing. We need to sit down and watch it." I love that film. I do.
No, it inspired me so much. First time I saw it, I was a sophomore in high school. So from 2004 to about 2007, before I got sick. It's a long story about that. I don't want to complain about it. But
Mm.
2007, 2008, I'm like, I want to go on tour with a band. I want to go on tour with someone, a singer, a professional wrestler. Then I was thinking, it's not realistic because they're not going to pay for you. You got to pay for yourself, and I don't want to be a burden. So, long story short, after I got sick, let me keep heading towards it. Pretty much how I got sick was out of my own stupidity. Say
Mm.
I worked in this retail store and you were a new hire and you were flirting with me and whatever. It's like, oh, Keith, you can tell me anything. We're friends, blah, blah, blah. Then you would
Mm.
go to the managers. Oh, Keith is stalking me. Keith is doing this. Keith is doing that. I would get yelled at. It's uncensored, by the way. And then it's like, um, Keith, we're just fucking with you. We're having fun with you. Don't take it so personally. So this went on about 2.5 years. So this was really affecting me mentally.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it took me a year and a half to recover. Good news is I now get disability money but bad news is it really got to the point I didn't want to leave the house. I suffer from depression and social anxiety. So doing the interview, it's therapy for myself. So it weighs out the pros and the cons. Yes, this is therapy for myself, and I'm a lot better than I was, well, what, 15, 16 years ago, but it affects you mentally. So the question I want to ask you, have you ever worked with someone or been in a position that, well, not in that way, obviously, but in a position that was kind of toxic and you got sick, but you kind of bounced back from it and you see things from a different point of view?
Quite a lot. Um, but I think I've gone through depression and anxiety in the past and all of that kind of stuff. And I know how difficult it can be to come out of that, especially like when you're at your lowest point. Um, you did say don't mention LA, but when I was in Ireland, um, I must have been about 16, and I found out that this dance group were going over to LA to represent Ireland in the World Championships of Performing Arts. And I was thinking, wow, this is something I really would love to do. So I got in contact with the dance school, and one of my girlfriends there, she was there as a dancer. And I said to the dance manager, I said, look, can I audition? Again, it was Selfish by Britney Spears. the dance songs that I did. Anyway, in the end, the manager was like, "Yeah, okay, you're in, cool." I was like, "Wait, I'm going to LA." My father, of course, was like, "No, you're not going. No, you're not." I was like, "I'm going, Poppy. I'm going." Um, but when we got there, I had some personal issues. I'm not gonna discuss it, but it was very dark, very dark, and um, I struggled very badly with it. And some of the girls there who had been with the dance studio for about 2 years, and I'd only just joined. Um, I wasn't really shown a lot of the choreography or anything like that. I was like this newbie, and some of the girls that were in the dance group I had already known. Um, but I remember it was just very toxic, there was a lot of talking. I mean, at one point, prank calls to my hotel room. It was very toxic. And I remember just kind of thinking, do I keep getting sad about it or do I just try to fight through it? And I remember praying and all that. One day I saw auditions for a scholarship and I went in there on my own. And this was in the hotel. And I auditioned. I was nervous. I closed my eyes and I just went for it. I don't even know how I danced. And then the next day they had the ceremony. And keep in mind, I felt like I was in quite a very, I'm not saying this in a bad way towards anyone. I wish everyone all the best always. But the position that I was in, I felt like Lindsay Lohan from the film Mean Girls at times, kind of like pushed out kind of thing. Um, but in the end, I stayed being kind to everyone. I was dealing with my own stuff, but I ended up being the only girl out of the group that got a scholarship to go back the next year. So I kind of think sometimes when you go through, a very dark, moment or situation, it could be anywhere in the world, or it could be even in your own home. The best thing is to just try to keep going. Ironically, I'm friends with all them girls now, but back then it was quite it was quite tough, 16 and yeah, so I just little things like that. Yeah, that was quite tough, but it goes to show that miracles can actually happen.
That's true. Now, the last two subjects I want to talk to you about real fast is what is song of the day? What song did you listen to today? And what music inspired you to start your career?
I have to say, one of my favorite songs of all time is Beautiful Day by U2. I love the energy and the vibe. Um, and also Pocket Full of Sunshine by Natasha Bedingfield. I love that song. Um, and probably, oh gosh, what other songs? I know there's a few songs. Bad Day by, I think, David Gray, I think,
I think so.
English. Oh, and Hall of Fame by The Script.
Oh, that's a good one.
Mm.
So, what music inspired you to start your career?
Probably the song Hollywood by Madonna.
That is a good one. For me, I guess on the weekend, Hall of Fame and our
Mm.
Blinding Lights. That's a good one. Let me ask you this: what was the first band you ever heard? For me, the first band I ever listened to was Rush.
Did you get into that on your own, or were your parents playing it and you heard it, or?
It's a funny story. We're on our way to see my dad's parents, my
Mm.
grandparents, and my brother surprised me by putting headphones on my ears and says, "Tell me when it's done." I went, "Okay." I didn't say anything, but I listened to Tom Sawyer, 2112, Spirit of the Radio. So Russ was the first band that ever inspired me.
Wow. I think probably, oh gosh, I remember listening to a lot of S Club 7. I got introduced to the band through my sister. Actually, no, I think it must have been the Spice Girls. Yeah, I think it was the Spice Girls. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think so. Wait, though my mother used to have on the Carpenters a lot.
Or they're good.
They are, they are definitely.
Well,
So
let me
yeah.
ask you this one, then we can go to our last subject real fast with time remaining. I'm going
Mhm.
to ask you about how has COVID-19 impacted your life and your career, and do you see things differently? But before we get to that, was there any songs that you really liked that you liked the music, but you didn't really listen to the lyrics? Passing over to you.
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing is, I don't know if you would agree with me, but when we're kind of younger, um, and we listen to some songs, they could be, I mean, like Turn Me On by Tommy Kitten. I used to just dance around to that as a kid. But it wasn't until I got older, I actually really heard the lyrics and I was like, wait, should I have been dancing to that when I was a little girl? Like, or yeah, a few, yeah, that's probably a good example.
But number one's like Eva just I told my dad wanted me to listen to this. Like, oh, Eva Destruction. That's a good one. But it's like anti-war music.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah.
I also like 2525. That's a good one.
25, 25. I haven't heard that.
I will send it to you. It's a good year. It's like it's
Yeah,
the
do.
year 2525. If man survives, if woman survives, and then it goes 10 years. It's the year 3535. You pick your child from a bottle, from the bottom of a test tube. Or the other one's like the year 7575. You don't need your eyes or your teeth, your arms will be limp at your side, and you have a robot doing it for you. So it's really interesting. This came out in the 60s. Unfortunately, it's almost true. But real fast, I wanted to. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, 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 no. I'm saying, yeah.
So the last one I want to actually, we can talk about COVID-19 when we do the sit down. But wrapping up, I want to pass the show over to you. Was there anything you want to promote about? Anything you want to talk about?
Ooh, so a project I've just finished called The Flying Scotsman that will be released soon. I can't really talk about what it's about, but I think you probably can get an idea from the title. Um, and I am working on an upcoming project, probably one of my biggest projects yet. Sorry, my pops is in the background. Hi, puppy.
It's
Yeah.
nice to meet you.
Yeah.
To meet you too.
I call him Pops. Another project, big project. I'm working on different things, but one of my biggest projects I will be working on is called Lifeless. Again, I can't really talk that much about it, but I will be keeping people updated.
No, absolutely. I do have a couple questions for you off the air. But
Mhm.
wrapping up, it was a real honor privilege having you as a guest. I'm looking
Okay.
forward to part two. Our goal is to reach 500 and more views. So if you're watching, definitely like, share, comment. This will be shared everywhere, and you should share it too. Until we meet again, catch you later. Thank you, and have a good night.